machines.
Oh, that's him.
Welcome back to the channel, guys, and we have to put a warning disclaimer in front of this video. Well, we don't have to, but we're going to, and this is something you've seen me do a lot of times before, but this time it's kind of the main focus of the video, and that is shark diving, spearfishing cobia off sharks. We are around these giant bull sharks. By no means do I think we are 100% in control, but I do think we're pretty good at what we do, and we work together. We know what each other's going to do. It takes very little communication between us to know what to do next and to do it as safely as possible. So not too much talking here in the beginning. We're going to get into some sick diving action. We got some kingfish at the beginning, and then we'll get into the crazy sharkiness. Enjoy the video. Right away, giant kingfish came in on the bait and the chum, and it just lined up perfect. I put a first shot in it really fast. Scott tried to kind of double tap it there right away, and it didn't work out, but I had a very solid shot on the fish, and it is just flying with this line right now. Now you can see the big bull shark down there, so I know I need to put the heat to this fish to keep the sharks off it, but at the same time you don't want to pull too hard because kingfish have very soft flesh, and you can pull the spear back out of the fish, causing you to lose the fish, and the fish will probably end up dying anyways. So it's kind of like a little balance you got to find with how hard you need to pull on these fish, at the same time kind of keeping your eye on everything else that's going on. So fast forward here a little bit, kind of got the fish wore out. I'm getting them in, and as soon as you bring them up to the top and try to grab them, they usually freak out again. So that's why I have Scott here. He swims down, kind of assesses the shot, and decides to go ahead and put that kill shot in there to secure the catch. Now that we have two shots in the fish still has got some life to him, but I know we can pull as hard as we want. This fish is not coming off, and even if it comes off one spear, we still got it on the other, so the chance of losing this fish just dropped dramatically. Got the fish landed, and the fish was a little over 40 pounds. I think it was a 43-pound kingfish, and that's a whole lot of meat for the smoker right there.
Oh, strong. The smoker. Get a double tap on him. I saw that. I was like, alright, Joey's closer. As soon as he pulls, I'm pulling.
Oh, I took a shot on this one, and Scott tried to put a second shot in him right away. That's a solid one. Big kingy. All right.
Shortly after that first kingfish, another kingfish in to check out the chum. Once you let them eat a couple pieces of chum, they get pretty dumb. And this one let me get pretty close to him, took a nice shot on him, and let him run, kind of played it out a little bit like the last one. And it didn't take too long to get this one in. Now the bull sharks started showing up. We shot a couple kingfish, kind of made some commotion, and the bull sharks really started showing up, and they had some nice cobias on them. We kind of regrouped, took a look at these cobias, saw there were some really nice ones around, and we knew we'd have to work together to get these fish in a safe manner. So we got So we'll call this the first drop down on the sharks of the day. Now, I swam down on a couple sharks earlier, but now I know there's cobias, and we're in cobia spearfishing mode, which means I'm looking over my shoulder nonstop, looking to see where Scott is, looking to see if there's any other sharks moving in, and I'm just really trying to slowly close the gap between the shark, also without drifting too deep. I don't want to shoot this fish at 50 or 60 foot. I want to shoot it in like the top 40 feet. That way I have a better shot of landing the fish. I didn't like the shot I was presented there, so I went back up to the surface, got rid of some of the chum that we didn't need anymore, and Scott kind of hung around. The shark came right back in and gave him a good shot at a nice cobia. The fish went back down. I knew I wasn't going to get a shot right from the surface, so I waited for Scott to kind of pull it up, and I was just assessing the situation, see what needed to be done, if I should put a second shot in, or if I should keep my gun loaded and just be ready for backup if need be. After looking at his shot, I could see he had an awesome shot on the fish. The fish was wounded, but it wasn't dead, but he could handle it, and that's the way we decided to leave that one. Now we got cobias everywhere. I'm dropping down on this one along with Scott, and again, Scott's in front of me. He hit the fish first, and the fish got away from me, so I couldn't put the shot in right away again. So I'm just kind of coming back up to the surface with him, help him pull, do whatever I need to do to help get the fish in faster. I'm at the surface for only a couple seconds, and he starts getting it up high enough to where I can drop down and put a second shot in the fish, and this one was just a lights out right through the dome. No more struggle. We got that fish. Now I found myself in a perfect position to take a good shot. It was just behind the gills, which is a very solid shot on a cobia, but it really doesn't slow him down. There are advantages and disadvantages to this shot. If you shoot him here, you can let them swim and give them line, and they look pretty normal, and the sharks don't care too much. They don't start doing the backflips and rolling around as much as they do when you hit them somewhere else. Once I start really pulling on them, you can see the fish starts doing that sporadic diving or sporadic swimming. But Scott was down there to pull real hard, and the sharks actually started chasing the fish back up. But that's what I'm talking about right there, where if you stop pulling, the fish can swim normal, and the sharks tend to leave it alone a lot of the time. We put a second shot in it to make it easier to handle on the surface, and we got cobia number 3 in the boat.
He's not dead, Evan. Just be ready.
Now that we had a few nice fish in the boat, I wanted to do something I've been wanting to do for a little while now, and that's take a cobia using the Headhunter Gorilla Sling. A little different than a spear gun, a lot more skill, I would say, goes into using a sling, and to get a cobia on one's a pretty good feeling. I didn't even realize I was holding it upside down in the moment, but it still worked perfect. We got the sling, got a solid shot. I probably could have landed the fish by myself, but since there were so many sharks around, Scott put his second shot in there. You can see the sharks were getting pretty nosy, just due to the commotion we've been causing for the last few fish we shot right next to him. But that's my first ever cobia on a sling. I've shot him on a pole spear before, but that's the first one with a sling, and I was pretty stoked to get a very solid cobia on it.
On the sling, boy. I don't want to bend your shaft. Alright, we wanted to do it. Cobia on the Gorilla Sling. Didn't get a headshot. Ah! Didn't get a headshot, but we got a solid freaking 35-pound cobia on the Gorilla Sling. Scotty gave me the assist on it. Tip works perfect, look at that. So the way the slip tip, it turns sideways. Now that has to lock it in there real good. Whew. We got him. Woo! Alright. Yeah. Look at the size of that cobia. Bro. Is that shark right there? Yeah. Dude.
I gotta check out these fish, maybe shoot one more.
Do it.
Dude, if you shoot one, you gotta get that big one.
Power headed, Joe.
You want to do it?
Yeah.
So you've seen the traditional spearfishing style with the spear gun and the sling like that last fish was shot with, and we were actually done diving, but we had this big cobia come around the boat, and we still weren't out of limit, so we decided to shoot one more before we got out of there, and we're going to show you what the power head does. This gun has a 357 Magnum cartridge at the end of the spear, so when you hit a fish, it pretty much just lights out every time, and the sharks were getting so bad we decided that was a good option to use right now. And that power head is just insane to shoot. You can feel it when it goes off. It's just so much power.
It's not dead somehow. I don't even know if he's our biggest one. He's big.
Yeah, that's the biggest one.
Yeah. Dinos.